It is big, it is bold, it is distinct and unmistakably British. Say hello to this gentle giant of an SUV, the 5th generation Range Rover. Yes, if you want to make a statement that says that you have arrived in life and have deep pockets, then the Range Rover is the best bet for you. And I would like to believe that I too have arrived in life. Well, at least for a couple of days. Now Siddharth tested the new Range Rover in beautiful Napa Valley in California, and we have a full-fledged review running. And my colleague Sameer has done a first look video on the new Range too. So make sure you watch both videos on Car and Bike's YouTube channel for a complete lowdown on the new model. Our focus today will be on the luxury, performance and comfort that the new Range Rover offers on the move. The Range Rover has been the epitome of luxury and ruggedness for the longest time, and being a legit icon, it feels equally at home whether it be a high society red carpet event or the back and beyond of a wilderness. It is saying something because of the price and the segment the new Range operates in. There are few cars that can boast of such towering, graceful presence. The front end is unmistakably a Range Rover carrying typical Range lines. Slim LED headlights, a boxy stance that squares off against you, and a very neat, clean, minimalist design with lesser cuts and creases than before. Oh, and before we forget, the door handles sit flush with the body for that brilliant, minimalist look. The new Range doesn't in fact scream or shout in your face that it is a new generation Range Rover, but it exudes a sense of calmness and tranquility by way of its design and gives off zen-like vibes. Even though it looks like it was carved out, chiseled out of a single piece of rock with its boxy stance, the new generation Range Rover in fact has a drag coefficient of just 0.3. That is sheer genius going by the size of this car, which is simply gargantuan. Look at the SUV from the rear and you begin to praise the masters that designed the new Range Rover. The same minimalist theme is carried over from the front. The vertically stacked hidden tail lights get a gloss black finish that only illuminate when the car is on the move. The gloss black finish extends to the tailgate and creates a refreshing minimalist look that's hard to miss. At over 5.2 meters, the new Range Rover is massive. Road presence is enormous, and those beautiful, albeit small looking 22-inch rims are dead giveaway that the new Range is a giant SUV. You or your chauffeur is going to have a tough time navigating the SUV on traffic-laden city roads. There are few cars that have a cabin as opulent as that of a Range Rover, but with the last gen model and this, the 5th gen model, the new Range almost blushes for offering you a cabin that is laden with features and comfort. The luxury on offer is almost sinful. Beautifully done leather upholstery, materials that feel super premium and rich, and oodles and oodles of space. We'll come to that in a bit after we have climbed into the SUV. Yes, we say climbed because the cabin sits quite high off the ground, which is also what gives you a proper commanding view of the world outside. 99.99% of Range Rover owners are going to spend their time in the rear left passenger seat, the boss seat. The material feels supple, sumptuous, and there are tons of features to play around with. The seats give a first-class lounge-like atmosphere. Plus, the touch panel in the center armrest allows you to dive deep into all kinds of settings for all sorts of features. Ventilation, panoramic sunroof, electric blinds, massage function, deploying retractable cup holders, lighting, and even music. That reminds me, there are noise cancelling speakers embedded in the seat of the new Range Rover for people who are audiophiles. Then you have the optional 11.4-inch HD screens which can be fitted to the rear of the seats. There is a new tech interface that is massively impressive. It is the latest Land Rover PV Pro platform, and the most important bit is the new 13.1-inch touchscreen with new graphics and haptic feedback. Then, the system also gets features like Alexa, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay along with Spotify built in. The Alexa integration also gets AI capability which keeps learning over time, and that results in improved functionality. Then there's a massive 13.7-inch digital instrument cluster with loads of information on offer along with a heads-up display. Today, we are driving the autobiography long wheelbase trim with a P400 petrol engine. It is built on Land Rover's flexible modular longitudinal architecture platform, or the MLA Flex. Boy, we can think of so many political puns around that. Land Rover says that there is significant improvement in terms of torsional rigidity, performance, refinement, and even versatility. And for the first time, Land Rover offers a third row of seats on the Range Rover. I was really getting used to the rear seat. And of course, because it has a lot of comfort, lot of features, and you're basically relaxing in a lounge. But having said that, the front seat, the driver's seat, is almost as entertaining and as enjoyable. I say almost because, like I said, there's just so much of comfort and relaxation in that rear seat. But this giant SUV, this behemoth of an SUV, it doesn't mind being hustled on city streets on traffic-laden roads. I'll tell you why. Because it has rear axle steering, where the rear axle, it moves in the opposite direction at slow speeds and in the same direction as the rear wheels at higher speeds, thus making it easier to maneuver in traffic. Sure, it is no ballerina, but it doesn't mind being hustled. And yes, you have to keep the size of the Range Rover in mind before you get used to it. Most of the power on the new Range is delivered to the rear wheels, and there is also an active anti-roll bar which works overtime if you're driving on switchbacks like these. The Range is no slouch either, thanks to the 3-liter petrol engine that does duty on this model. It puts out a maximum of 394 horses and an incredible 550 Newton meters of peak torque. The pull is enough to uproot a tree if required, and the acceleration is going to leave you wide-eyed with disbelief, because the claimed 0 to 100 km/h sprint is dispatched in just 5.8 seconds, and the top speed is a significant 242 km/h. For a car that weighs over 2.5 tons, it sure is something. What did feel a little out of place is the ride quality. Yes, the ride quality on this car is slightly stiff, and it isn't exactly plush like you would associate with the Range Rover. Even with all the sensors, all the electronic software, and even independent suspension, the ride quality could have been a touch more supple. Plus, the fact that this car runs on 22-inch rims with lower profile tire, smaller rim size with thicker, chunkier rubber ought to do the trick. Few people would be enthusiastic, well, actually mad enough to take a luxurious SUV costing over 3 crore rupees off-roading. But that never stopped Land Rover from making all iterations of the Range Rover more than capable when it comes to tackling the rough. The highlight is Land Rover's Terrain 2 response system, which uses a myriad variety of sensors and cameras to monitor throttle, braking and steering inputs, along with adjusting the suspension and locking the electronic active differentials at the front and rear for increased control and power when required. At the highest suspension setting, the ground clearance is a massive 294mm, while wading depth is a bonkers 900mm. We really wish we could test that. What a sight it is! A stupidly luxurious SUV mucking its way out on an off-road trail. Go anywhere ability with ultra luxury. Now that is a statement. There are a ton of customization options on offer for upholstery, features, infotainment, seating and much more. It is a car fit for business magnates, Bollywood celebrities and for the rich and not so famous. Plush, sophisticated to a fault, stratospheric pricing and the epitome of luxury and comfort, the new Range Rover wears a very many hat. The 5th generation Range Rover is unmistakably British in its roots. It embraces minimalism and offers understated luxury and elegance. Prices start at 2 crore 38 lakh rupees and go upwards of 4 crore rupees. The model that we drove today costs around 3 crores 16 lakh rupees ex-showroom of course. The new generation model pushes the envelope further, raises the bar higher over the older model and does so with nonchalant ease. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the beauty of it all. We will say that if you can afford one, you should just go for it. You will be glad you did.